What's up, guys? It's Compass coming back at you with part 2 of our series of getting better at Lock on 3. Today, I'm going to be teaching you everything you need to learn about hitting and pitching in Lock on 3. If you don't know who I am, I'm Compass. I stream on Twitch, and I'm also a part of the Power Pros World Discord server. Both of those links are going to be down there at the description. And if you enjoy Power Pros content, please make sure to like and subscribe. It means a lot to me and it helps a lot to the community. If you need any questions about anything you hear in this video or anything you're confused about, please join the Discord server. There are plenty of people there to help answer any questions that you may have. And the next video I plan to drop is a no lock on tutorial for all my people ready for EPL, all my no lock on demons, so just be ready for that. Alright, so right here we're at the main menu of the championship menu. What you want to do first if you're a new player is come down here to the options, and please, I cannot say it enough times, come over here. It will be on hit cursor. That is like no lock on. Lock on is basically the aim assist of this game. Put it on lock on and put your level on 3. That will help you so much when batting. If you have it on any less level or hit cursor, you are just going to get absolutely destroyed. You will have no chance at all online unless you are a very skilled player, which if you're new, chances are you're not. Now, another setting that I do like is pitching system. I like to switch it from normal to press twice. If you do have it on normal, it is not going to be timed like I have been showing you. It is just going to be you choose the pitch and you aim where it goes, and it's going to be completely random whether it's going to be a perfect pitch and actually go where you want it to, whether it's going to be a mistake pitch, even a meatball just at random, no control at all. And it also just burdens you. If you're using normal, then you can't use lower control players as easily, and you're just relying on the game at that point. That's why I like press twice. I think that normal, you're just putting yourself at a burden, but you do not have to play on press twice. There are people in the Discord that are very good that do play on normal. It is not impossible. I just think it is severely limiting, and if you are new, you might as well just learn how to play on press twice and not limit yourself. So, whenever you are pitching to someone in lock on 3, you gotta think, they have lock on 3 on, so they could send any ball that you pitch, like, into the stratosphere. You need to make sure that you can pitch onto the black. You need to make sure you are pitching onto the black and you are mixing up your pitches. Make sure you are throwing balls and mixing up your timing, keeping their timing off. If you're just pitching it to one spot, pitching it on a pattern, they're gonna start picking it up. A good player is gonna send it off into the stratosphere. They're gonna hit home run after home run on you. Please make sure you are mixing up balls with strikes. You don't always want to throw strikes. If you are throwing strikes, then that is an opportunity for them to hit a home run on you. Every single time you throw a strike, right there, that could have been a home run right there against a good player. Right here, that could have been a home run against a good player. You have to make sure that you're throwing balls to keep them off guard. Now, let's say a batter is a right-handed batter and he is lined up on our left-hand side. What they're usually going to do is they're usually going to be lined up at the left inside corner, because the best way to bat is to try to pull one of these pitches, especially with Myojin. So you want to get a lot of pitches on the outside because it is a lot harder to push a ball than to pull a ball like Miojin. If I could get a pitch. You also want to make sure that you're pitching a lot low because it is harder to raise a ball that is a low ball than a high ball. But you also need to make sure that you're mixing in the high ball, because if you are only throwing the low ball, people will hold their PCI at a low point, and as soon as you throw a low ball in the zone, it's just going to be sent. It's just going to be sent. So yeah, I would use the changeup very sparingly with someone like Miojin. The strategy with someone like Atsu is you're going to use this special ball. Let me just throw this real quick. Look at that special ball, how it just stays there and breaks into the end. You want to put it right there, right at the edge of the zone, and keep throwing strike over strike over strike. Mix it up, move it all around through the zone. All through that side of the zone. You don't want to throw it over here, because as soon as you throw it over here, that's a chance that someone could take that yard. So you always want to make sure that you're pitching it over here. I have a very hard time doing this because this is a very high skill technique. Only the best players can do this at a very high level. Now you see, let's just say I mess up a little bit. Let's just say I mistimed it. It comes too much over the plate, a non-chaser player is going to send that. Now right now, if I keep timing it right and keep getting those strikes, the only player that can take that yard is someone like Oda or Kagemi that has chaser. Sometimes you can mix in that curveball to mix up their timing. Maybe that fastball, but you gotta be careful with those because those are gonna be the easiest pitches to take off. Now you pretty much want to pitch Doe the exact same way as Atsumori. The exact same way, except it does not move to the same extent that Atsu's is. I would say that doing this is a lot easier than doing it with Atsu because Doe has that A control compared to Atsu's C control, but the cutter is much easier to hit than something like the Atsu slider. So just keep that in mind. Of course, you want to just move it around the zone. If you want to maybe bring it up above because that cutter drops down, maybe you can place that ball where it looks like it's going to be in the bottom of the zone and it just drops straight out. Or if you've been spamming that for a while, you could throw that shoot ball. That shoot ball up high seems to get a lot of people if you've been throwing that cutter for a while. You just throw that shoot and they'll just start swinging. It's just pretty simple with Doe. But just be careful. Let's just say you mistime a pitch. That's gone. That's gone to any good player. Now Unai is pretty much the same exact tips I gave you with Miojin. The only difference with Unai is Unai actually has stuff, not just the little changeup. So if you want, you could throw a little splitter down, like mess with their head a little bit, maybe throw a little shoot ball, but I would not throw these like a whole lot. I would throw the fastball 90-95% of the time. It's just that good. And it's the exact same thing with my own man. It's the exact same strategy with all three of them. All three of them are just dominated by their fastballs. They got a little bit something extra. But mostly you just want to keep on spamming them fastballs down and make sure they don't hit it. Now Kiba's the one with the special fastball that's slightly different. You see this? That fastball rises a little bit, so a lot of people like to set it down below the zone and have it rise up and hit the zone for a strike. Maybe they could set it up here. That seems to be the main strategies with him. Very hard to hit if you could time that just right. And then every now and then you get a fork ball in there, make them think that one's coming straight into the zone, something that they could hit. Throw them with a little fork ball, get them swinging. Alright, now Assa. If you're looking to use Assa, Assa's very easy to use. You just use this fork ball, sometimes throw it under the zone, sometimes don't throw it under the zone. Very hard pitch to hit, but it can be kind of punishing. A good player can know how to hit this very easily, so I would make sure that it falls under the zone a lot. Maybe gets on the edge of the zone, maybe comes over top of the zone, falls underneath, something like that. Get it somewhere on the edge. And of course Assa has a hard slider on both sides. Get the timing off. That fastball's fast. But yeah, our main weapon is just that forkball. That forkball is very hard to hit. Cuts very short, very late. Alright, Aoba is very easy. You just use the slider. Sometimes you pitch it out the zone. Sometimes you pitch it from inside the zone to out. That slider just moves. It moves a lot, so it's a pretty easy pitch to use. I'm sorry, my timing's off. But yeah, there's not a lot to it. I mean, of course, you just keep sliding it. Maybe slide one out like that. You don't want to pitch all of them inside, or else someone's gonna catch a rhythm to it. But make sure to stay pitching from inside. Catch that strike zone. Pretty simple with Aoba. And Afro Akari, probably the cheapest person you could get away with pitching to anyone. Let me show you the special fastball that I was talking about. Just not that good. Huge green light that just like alerts the batter where it's going. The real bread and butter is the curveball. That curve just moves a lot. Could get it perfectly in the strike zone. Just a very hard pitch to hit. Sometimes get them with that forkball. But yeah, that's what most people do. Most people just target that one spot. Get a strike right there. Maybe they'll pitch it on the outside coming in sometimes. Very occasionally, I wouldn't do this very often because it could be prone to home runs, but I would pitch it from the very top. But yeah, mostly just stuff like this. If I could pitch it right. There we go. Mess with them, like put it a little bit high. Make them think that it's high enough to be in it. Put it a little bit to the side. Maybe they think it's a little bit to the right enough to be a strike. Then once you get them all settled down, you throw a little forkball in there and get them swinging. Maybe even a little slider action. I don't really like the slider too much, but the slider can be an effective weapon. But I would say use the use this fastball very sparingly, and make sure to throw it above the zone because they're gonna want to swing at it. It's juicy. It is a lot more hittable than this curveball is, and they will drool all over it as soon as that green flashing light pops up. Now, one last player that I would like to talk about is Allen. Allen is very expensive, looks very good on paper, has a special fastball. The difference between Allen is he does not have iron ball, so he's not really that viable on lock on 3. He can catch people lacking, but most likely than not, he's just going to get smacked most of the time. As you can see, this fastball does rise, but it does have the same problem as Afro Akari's rising fastball. It has a huge light that emits from it, just letting you know that that's the fastball that's coming. It is a little bit faster than Afro Akari's, I do believe, with the heater and everything. So they don't have as much time to react to it being a fastball, but it does get launched. The real bread and butter of Allen, though, is the power curve. The power curve can be really deadly, especially in situations where it is boosted like runners in scoring position. But just one good contact on a power curve with a good batter usually means that it's automatically gone. There's no chance that it's a fly ball. But Allen can be super useful. I can't give you too many tips on how to pitch Allen because, to be honest, I don't use Allen. I don't think that he should be used. Oh, there's a meatball right there. That just shows you I don't use Allen. But if you want to use Allen, he could possibly work, but I would not personally recommend it. And just some general pitching tips, not pitcher specific. Of course, you want to always play to your pitcher's specific play style and skill set. But just some pitching tips, you pretty much never in lock on 3 want to leave anything too far over the plate, or else it's just going to get smacked. You always want to put it on the black. You don't want to ever fall into a rhythm. You always want to be unpredictable. You never want to throw like the same pattern over and over again. People tend to pick up on patterns really well. You also want to be able to use your pass pitches to try to trick the batter. Let's say that I dot right here, right on the black in the bottom left corner. Let's say he's expecting me to throw it again. I could throw just right under it and force a grounder on it, throw it straight to the left, force a jammed bat. You just got to play mind games with the batter. That's all that pitching is a bunch of mind games, especially with the fastball pitchers such as Myojin, Mailman, Unai, even someone like Daigugetsu that I haven't explained, someone that's just not as good as them, but still a fastball pitcher in his own right. It's just how you got to play with them, and you got to play off that off-speed, throw off their timing. But make sure you're always playing to your pitcher's exact skill set. That's the most important part, and be unpredictable. Alright guys, getting into hitting tips here. Hitting is very difficult, especially against these hard to hit against pitchers such as Myojin. I know Myojin is just throwing meatballs down the middle. I don't know what he's doing right now. But anyway, what I usually do, I can only say what I usually do. But what I usually do is I target a zone. What that zone usually is the inside bottom corner, because that's what a lot of people like to pitch to. And I like to jump on these fastballs early. With Myojin, Unai, Mailman, Kiba, all these guys, I like to jump on the fastball early. Alright, and let's just say I am aiming at this position right here, and he pitches it on the inside. What I want to do is I want to hop on it early. I want to pull hit it. Pull hitting gives you your best success of getting a home run against pitchers with this type of fastball. And I'm always just targeting stuff that's low and that is by my cursor and that's in the zone. Your eye for the zone is going to get better through practice, but just look for stuff that's around where you're aiming at, just around where it's going to be in the zone. So like, let's say he pitches it over here, I just start moving it over there. Pretty much it's just all I do is just stare at that strike zone and I just react. I just memorize where the strike zone was and I react and I try to get on top of the ball, try to swing nice and early so I could get a nice pull hit. You see there, I'm not swinging nice and early, so I'm not getting the pull hit that I want. I am getting grounders on the ground. Alright, let's move on to a different pitcher. Now you see, against like an Atsu, it's gonna be a lot tougher. Just against this Atsu that's pitching at this top right corner, it's a lot harder to hit than that Myojin. You're just gonna have to wait, see what comes in the zone, see if there's something that you like. This is why it's so important to have someone like an Oda on your team. See, look, he's just coming in, and there's gonna be no chance for me to hit it. That one was way outside. Just no chance of me getting any type of power. Now let's switch over to another batter like Oda. And now if we get someone like Oda over there with Chaser, even though he doesn't have his abilities activated, he can get all of those that he wants. It doesn't even matter if it's perfect. He just gets all of them. That's the power of Chaser right there. That's pretty much what I have to say about Atsumori. The key to hitting off an Atsumori, just have an Oda, have a Kagemi, have these guys that have Chaser. Because as I explained earlier in the pitching tutorial, this is all they want to do. They just want to dot up this outside line. And the key to batting well against them is to either just destroy them with these chaser players, or you wait for them to make a mistake against your non-chaser players. So if they pitch it too far inside, let's say you're using one of your non-chaser players, he mistimes it, he gets it right in there, you gotta be ready to attack it. See, look right there. And if you see the pitch come through, you are not supposed to be swinging right on where the pitch is showing that it's coming through the catcher's mitt. You are supposed to be swinging before that. You gotta find just the sweet spot. Lock on 3 is pulling me over there. Man, lock on 3 is really pulling me to get pull hits. See, look, you go a little bit more than a power swing, and you get a nice juicy bomb. That's the real tip of hitting against an Atsumori. Either you gotta wait out here, or if they pitch one inside, you gotta make sure that you're on it. You gotta make sure. You see how if you just one power swing circle away from them, you're either getting a home run or you're getting a base hit every single time. And that's why as an Atsumori you gotta pitch on the outside. See, look, if I was a lot better, I would be doing that every time. But unfortunately, I'm not. Pretty much all the tips I said for Atsumori, pretty much, I can't believe I missed that knuckleball. I'm keeping that in the video. That was embarrassing. Basically the same thing I said about Atsumori pretty much just applies to Doe. They're gonna both look to do about the same thing. You gotta go attack them with their chaser players. You gotta go smack them whenever they put it too much in the zone. Right now I can only hit contact hits, but that's okay. Pretty much the same exact thing. The key to hitting off an Assa is pretty much just hold your cursor down here, react to any pitches, because most Assas, what they're gonna do is they're gonna be pitching down low. Usually they're gonna try to catch one above the strike zone. They're gonna be pitching a lot below the strike zone, but they're gonna be trying to catch one above it, and usually I just take that 1 yard. Of course the AI don't want to do that right now, but the Assa forkball doesn't drop that much. With a little bit of practice, you should be able to take a yard pretty easily. And the key to hitting off Afro Akari, he does force a lot of grounders with this curveball. You gotta be hitting it under the break. This is still something that I am currently working on. As you see, I get a lot of grounders myself. But you gotta be hitting it under the break. Man, I'm getting so many grounders. See, look, you gotta get right under the break. Alright, I just only hit grounders. And of course, a normal Afro Akari is gonna try to hit you with the forkball underneath, you know, the slider, maybe a quick fastball. You just gotta be ready for all those. Of course, the curveball is like the easiest to see coming because it is the slowest, but it is the most effective pitch, so you gotta be ready for it. But I would just say get under the break. Make sure you're ready to hit all those fastballs that come into the zone. Don't be swinging at the forkballs. One more point I would like to make about hitting is that contact hitting is very easy against players like Myojin, Unai, all those type players, the fastball meta, and you will see a lot of higher players start to do that because that's the way to beat them. It is a lot harder to slug against people like them. So just remember that you do not have to use these big sluggers. You can go for a more contact hit team, and you could just play small ball to get them in. Playing small ball is a lot easier. I would just target a part of the zone and then just react to whatever fastball comes your way. Especially a high one. High fastballs are especially easy to hit. And also remember that hitting and running is very, very viable. If you want to just press, X, and have all your players take off, and then you just hit it to the ball. It's usually very viable. It didn't work out there. But I will be going a lot more into that in my next tutorial about no lock on, because small ball is a lot more necessary on no lock on. So if you want to hear more about contact hitting, just make sure to tune in for the next video. But against Myojin, Unai, Mao Man, contact hitting is very, very viable. One last thing that I would like to show you is while you are fielding, if you press your left bumper or L on switch, you will pop up your different shifts, which is very useful if you're facing like a big slugger. You want to watch for sluggers. All of these can be used different situations, but that's way too advanced and way too complicated to get into in this video. This video would be like 2 hours long if I were to explain all the shifts and all the situations you could use it in, but I would just know that watch for sluggers is very good. I would take advantage of these shifts as much as possible. Alright, and that's all the tips that I have for y'all today. And hitting and pitching and lock on 3. Next video, of course, I will be going over those no lock on tips for EPL. If you want to know more about EPL, I will be explaining it in the next video. But if you want to know more, just join the Discord and ask about it. Link is going to be down below in the description, like always, along with my Twitch. And I really appreciate y'all watching the video. Make sure to like and subscribe for more Power Pros content, and I'll see y'all later.